What does this button do?
Hello and welcome to another Woodshop podcast.
Who's that guy?
Mike Coffey of Coffee Custom Builds, Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks,
Cowboy
Peter
skateboard.
Kapar of Petrie's Workshop. You can find us all, as well as the podcast, on Instagram and YouTube.
Welcome to episode 132 of another Woodshop podcast, where this week we are joined once again by one of our favorites. We asked him if he wanted a cover for Mike. He blinked once for yes, so we pulled off the tape, untied the ropes, and we kept Mac as collateral. Paul Jackman's here somewhere.
I think he's waiting for the music.
I'm not going to play the music.
I think you have to. Otherwise, he doesn't come on. You got to play the music.
Fine. He wants his intro music. What a child. Just a
7 days a week.
Cowboy Jackman.
Jackman.
Make that pull-out game.
Oh, we're getting canceled.
Hey guys.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, Paul?
Thanks
Nobody
for
else
being
would join
here
you?
completely of your own volition.
No, we asked like a half a dozen people and they all said no. So
You once again, you can't count. We asked one person. That is not half a dozen. A dozen is
Oh.
not two.
You asked one person, then you gave up, and then you asked me.
Yes,
that's basically that's accurate. Okay,
basically on brand
I
for us.
concede.
Well, Mike is not with us this week. He is in an undisclosed look. Keep it down. Keep it down. He's not in my closet. He's in an undisclosed location. He will be back if he's good next week, when we will be joined by one or two guests. None of them Jackman. We'll talk about that
I'm just
later.
gonna show up, so you have to have three guests.
You know what? We'll just bring you on.
I'm
just
okay with that.
Yeah.
for fun.
I'm gonna put the
Um,
Zoom link on my Instagram stories and just have people join, just randos.
Exactly. Well,
Just like
some-
I'll have a party.
Yeah.
exactly. Well, some
Like a
people
block
that
party.
are part of the block party
Ooh.
that help us do what
AWP
we
block
do.
party.
We could do that in Nebraska. I'm
could.
lying. No one lives in Nebraska.
There's
But some
half
of our
dozen people here.
patrons live in Nebraska. So this week we don't have a sponsor. This week's show is brought to you by our patrons. And we don't have any new ones this week, but we still appreciate all of you guys that help us support the show. And one other way to help support the show is by picking up some merch from the AWP Etsy shop.
I would
We have some, well, it's not AWP,
just
but
pretend that this says AWP on.
you can get some shirts that say I've been AWP'd on or Meh Army.
I was actually
or
wearing that shirt
Kabasi
earlier
Posse.
today.
Yeah, I'm wearing the retro Another Woodshop podcast shirt. So pick
Designed by
those
yours
up.
truly.
perfect thing to get for your wife for Christmas.
Christmas gifts.
It's Christmas gifts. 'Tis the
Yes.
season. We just renewed all our listings that we definitely didn't let expire. So that's a good way to help us out. Another way to help us out is to leave a review. This week's we don't have reviews, but if you guys want to leave,
We
do
have one, and you need to play the jingle. Otherwise, I won't read it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that Black Betty? I don't know. We haven't done this one in a while. Yeah. Wait. Oh wait. No. Haha. Let's try that again with audio.
Oh, Black Betty, Ram Lamb. There we go.
Yeah. And this one is on which platform, Dan?
Yelp.
Yeah, that's right. We do have a Yelp page. That is one of the places you can leave a review. What is that review, Dan?
Well, let me tell you, I was writing down the timestamp for you.
Gotcha.
We got a Yelp review from JS over in Brunswick, Georgia. He left a 5-star review. I believe that's all you can do over at Yelp. He says, if you're looking for help discovering new or better ways to work your wood, then look no further. My wife is pleased every time she sees how AWPness has improved the skills of these hands. Thanks for a good time, guys. Thank you, Jay. Really
Thank you was
appreciate it.
from his wife. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And if you want to leave a very vague and confusing review, that is our theme. Just so if anyone else sees us trending in hobbies and leisure, they look at the reviews to try to get the sense of the show. We want them to be confused. However, we've had enough medically themed reviews, so maybe stay away from those.
People have a
Cure
lot of problems.
ailments. That's okay. Those kids.
Mostly
But-
rashes.
Mostly rash. A lot of rashes. I'm glad
So
we're
many
curing them,
rashes.
not causing them. Speaking of causing rashes,
Jackman's here. Oh, we're going right into that.
I should, yeah.
You really,
So
you really
speaking
threw
of-
me for a
I'm
loop
sorry.
there.
Take your timestamp. And speaking
I
of
got it.
rashes, Jackman, Paul, comma Pat,
I'm here.
what do you got on your bench this week? I cannot
What?
talk. What do you
What is
gotta get on the bench?
What's the street address of AWP on Yelp.com?
I'm not telling you because that's
It's a
my address.
broadcasting studio in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
Yeah.
AKA Dan's house.
Basically.
Okay.
I think it's a random address somewhere
Yeah, it's not my real address.
Yeah,
so
it's
if
like
you're looking
somewhere
to stalk me,
in
that's not the
Omaha
way to
Central.
do it.
It's like,
Yeah.
like a dentist.
I mean, it's a good starting point, I guess.
It's a strip club in Nebraska.
No such thing.
Yo, those
No,
are probably
it's-
illegal. Then.
Not that I know. Not that I've been looking.
By the way,
But there's no bear
Paul's
den here. I'll
using-
tell you that much.
there's no bear den. No, that's only here. Oh, we didn't take Paul to the bear den.
Oh,
You would love the bear
bear
den.
camp next year.
Paul, I love that. Yeah, so Paul's using a filter on his video, and he's currently a sheriff. But I love that when
No,
you
I-
tilt your head, it doesn't just move with your head; it actually tilts and it's flat. It's as if you just have one taped to your head.
No, best part is it's on the skateboard as well.
It's on a
I mean,
skateboard too. This is why you watch the YouTube video.
Yes.
And if you're not subscribed, also sorry, Paul, to cut you off again. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're almost at 1,000 subs.
950?
947, so almost 50.
Ooh,
Good round
okay.
up. All right, Paul, what's on your bench?
Oh, I can talk now.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, Paul.
Like, hey, Paul, what's on your bench? I'm going to keep talking.
Sorry. I'll shut up now.
We're bad at this.
Yeah, you don't know what you're doing. You're 130
My
something
first
times of this.
time.
I don't have much on my bench, actually.
It's more
There's
on
like-
the floor.
It's on the floor. Does
Oh,
that count?
Okay.
Can I talk
I
about
was
what's on
like,
my
Yes.
floor?
lies.
I have a teardrop camper on my floor upstairs in the barn. Halfway done? Probably not. Probably not.
Wait,
Halfway assembled.
can you get it out?
Don't ask the question. Don't.
Yeah, how are you going to get it out?
Oh, you guys both asked the question. Nobody's asked me that question yet. Can you believe that? Not one person until tonight, and then two people asked me that.
feel
Well, I
he's
only
lying.
asked it
feel
because I heard
everyone
Pete
has
say
asked
it.
him.
I keep posting about it. I was like, when is somebody going to ask me how I'm going to get this out of the barn?
Has no one
Like, when
actually
is
asked
somebody
you?
going to be like, no, everybody's asked
Oh,
me
I was gonna say.
that.
I don't read
I
the
keep-
comments.
I keep getting messages, and it's like, no, I haven't thought about that. Actually, it's a good question.
You're just going to cut it in half, right?
It'll fit through the
a
door as it is right now.
Yeah,
a sawzall or whatever
I-
whatever that's actually called.
I measured the door, and I measured it again, and I measured it again because I didn't trust myself. I was like, I want to make sure this thing fits out the door, and it does. Because I got a big double door. I'm upstairs, so that's gonna make it tricky. But I got a big double door, 6 inches to spare, so like 3 inches on either side. It's tight, but it fits. So it's gonna go out the door onto a ramp that I'm gonna build, and then slide down to the
Like
ground,
the Egyptians did when they built the Great Pyramids, like a
Yes.
giant ramp.
just like that.
Out of
pallets.
steel
Somebody
and
used
stone.
slave
They
labor.
use pallets too.
And slave labor.
Ouch, that went dark fast. Jeez.
They just made it illegal in Tennessee. Did you hear that?
They're like Pharaoh pallets
Anyway,
instead of Magna
I'm so
pallets.
proud of Tennessee right now.
Good for Tennessee.
Oh, what happened? I don't follow the news.
They- In the election, they voted slavery to be illegal in the state.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah, welcome to 1900
Yeah. Jesus.
or whatever year.
Oh,
I don't
Anyway.
know history.
our
I always bring the
government is in
podcast
shambles.
down.
Anyway,
Yeah, so I'm
So-
working on a teardrop camper for Arbor Tech. It's the CLC kit. I don't know if I talked about this last time.
you briefly
Probably.
mentioned
You
it. You talked
mentioned
about
it,
how
yeah.
you had it in boxes in Pete's driveway when we were making
Okay,
it.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's out of the boxes.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
It's
I
good
was actually
start.
surprised that they provided a form for assembly. That was pretty cool. Like the part of
Like
the build
like
is
the
that-
booklet.
No, the form to like hold it upside
Oh.
down.
Yeah. There's like a whole cradle that's all like 1/2 inch plywood. And you fit it together. It's got like half lap joints, and the whole thing fits together. It you know.
Pat laps
And-
together.
Yeah.
Oh, it's scissors together?
It's scissors together.
The
And
scissor
then
joint.
that holds the shape of it while you build it, and you stitch the seams and you fiberglass the seams. And then once I flip it upside down, which I'm about to do tonight, I'm gonna flip it upside down because the bottom's in there, but it's on the top, so I have to flip it over as you do. And I'm gonna do epoxy in those seams, and then I can take the form off.
Is
That
it
sounds
a regular bottom or a power bottom?
It's pretty heavy. It's thick. It's 2 pieces stitched together, so
that's a
it's pretty
power bottom if
powerful.
I ever
That's a
heard
power
one.
bottom.
Yeah, because it's bigger than a full sheet of plywood,
So
which is powerful.
how far are you planning on getting with that build before bringing it like downstairs or something? You think you can get the whole thing done?
I'm gonna do everything except for the varnish, and then I'm gonna bring it down for that.
Oh, cool. So the
So
whole thing
there's-
will actually fit.
Yeah, so I'll do all the fiberglassing up there. So it's built like a boat. So it's like 1/8 inch plywood. It's very thin, but you stitch it together. It's like a stitch and glue boat. So you use these like copper stitches to hold the seams together, and then you super glue those seams, take the stitches out, and then you epoxy those seams and put
So like a
fiberglass tape
larger
on them.
version of the total boat that we built at Maker.
Basically. Yeah, same process. It's just that, but
Bigger.
5 feet by 8 feet.
And what did you stitch the seams with? You were like cutting I see
Zip
you cutting them
ties.
off.
Dirt.
Were they zip ties that you were using or something else?
The,
No.
the little boats they use zip ties, I think, right?
No,
Yeah.
for your boat. Your
I use copper wire.
oh, that's what it was.
So you can twist it and you can like really tighten stuff up and fine tune it. And that's the most nervous part of the build, though, is because you clip them out before you put the fiberglass tape on it, and all that's holding it together is super glue.
So
Which feels
basically-
wrong.
tack welds.
That's what they call it, is tack welds. Yeah,
So basically, you're just building the carcass, and you're just gonna drop this on like a trailer, like
yeah.
a.
So that'll go on top of the trailer. So the trailer is downstairs in pieces, the aluminum bolt together thing.
Oh, they supplied the trailer as well.
Yeah, so that's all. They have like a custom made aluminum trailer from
Oh,
Trail
cool.
X. It's another company, and they work with them to get the trailer made specifically for that camper. So that's down
That's
there.
actually super cool.
Right.
So it's like a no weld trailer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wood,
And
so
it's
that's
pretty
cool.
robust too. I was kind of surprised. I got to see it when I went down and picked up the kit.
Interesting.
It's not bad.
And that includes all the hardware like doors and whatnot. And
So yeah, and the doors right now are part of the camper. It's like part of the shell, and then you cut them out of the shell. So there's like a bunch. It's like perforated basically. There's a bunch of slots cut that outline the door. So once you get everything together, get it all fiberglass, then you cut the doors out of what's already built,
oh,
and then you put glass inside of that. You cut out the window and add the hardware and all that too.
Awesome.
they really like thought about this.
It's like really well thought out. It's great because like I started it I think Sunday or something, and I'll be able to get the main form of it done by tomorrow. So within a week,
Whoa.
Wow.
which seems that seems pretty quick. And then I think the rest is probably going to take forever, but it goes fast at first at least.
And
Gives you
And
that
It's
gives
so
you that
easy.
sense of. I'm sorry.
It's so
all at once, please.
It's so easy a dog can build it.
Ouch. Oh. What?
A dog, the Cavaliers mascot built one.
Oh.
All right. I forgot about
Right.
that reference.
Paul's
That
followed
happened
by
5 minutes ago,
Big
Dan.
names.
I don't know
I
if you
just
know this
found out-
about me, Paul. I'm pretty old.
Right. Like, forget about my Netflix show, and that's not a big deal. The Cleveland Cavaliers mascot follows me on Instagram.
I wonder how he wrote that or she wrote that message. I wonder
Yeah,
if
we
it was
don't know.
woof to speech or woof
Don't
to
you-
text.
Don't you dare gender that mascot.
They.
That's right.
Thank you.
They
So-
just messaged me during the podcast and said that they built the camper. I don't
Showing
know.
off. They.
I don't know who it is. And I said,
The
"How'd you
whole
do this
team.
without thumbs?"
Perfect response.
We'll update
Now-
you if they write back.
What else comes with the kit as far as like hardware? Like, is it everything down to like pulls for drawers or locks?
Yeah, so-
battery, like for lights. Like, what else?
It depends on what you want. So like the trailer is optional. You could use a different trailer if you want. But I have the basic kit, which is the plywood. It also includes fiberglass, the weather stripping, epoxy, enough epoxy to do the whole thing. The super glue is even in there. There's like a little bottle of super glue. The stitches are in there, and all the hardware for the doors and for the hatch has like gas struts on it. I think that's it. And then there's like add-ons. There's like an exhaust fan vent that goes on the top. You can do that, and then there's like a whole electronics package. If you want that, you can get that too with like lights and fans.
Nice.
And there's a storage box on the front, which I have, so I'll be
Neat.
building that too. And then there's a cargo carrier that goes under it, which I'll also be building, which is a whole separate kit. So that has a bunch of really big, deep drawers that go under the whole camper.
Oh, neat.
So with it being DIY, I would assume that you can actually modify it to your liking as well. Like you could add on things and
Right. So that's what I'm going to be doing for Arbortech, because I don't get to keep it. I'm building it for them, so they're going to use it as like a roadshow trailer that they're going to demonstrate out of. So what they call the back has a big hatch that opens up, and they call it the galley because they're boat people, but it's really just a little kitchen. And there's like, that's another kit that you could buy, is a little kitchenette thing that is custom made to fit that space. And I told them I didn't want it. I'm going to build my own, so I'm going to build one to fit like a little TV display that, you know, plays demonstrations of them using Arbortech tools.
Block it out
Probably-
so it's just your videos.
I should, yeah. Yeah, like they don't have access to the TV.
No.
There's like password protection on it.
How's this even powered?
Yeah.
it's just on a loop.
So I'll have some like minimal electronics in there for now. And then my plan for them is I'll get it working good enough, and then they'll use it for the first shows in January in I think Baltimore. There's like a bunch of woodworking shows, and then they'll use it for 6 months, see how they use it, and then I'll take it back and fine tune it for them.
Awesome.
Neat.
But it's fun build. It's like surprisingly easy so far. Like it's something that anybody I think could do.
A YouTuber
Like
could
you
do
don't
it.
even, yeah, like washed up Instagram model.
Model.
Yeah. So you like don't
And
even
what-
really need a workshop. Like if you had a tent outside, like technically that could work. So it's like
What I was
something
going to say
anybody-
earlier is you said that it feels like it's going fast, but it probably feels that way, and it probably feels good because like if something's dragging on, you know, you're not going to be like excited to do it. You know, if you're seeing a lot of progress at first, it probably
Right.
feels great,
Like
and you're like
Doors.
motivated
They
to
take
keep
forever.
going. I feel like that's an attack. Okay.
No.
Actually, at a certain point in that build, once I cut out the two side doors, there's two access doors on the side, and there's one big hatch door in the back. Once I get those separated from the trailer, I will then have 3 doors down on that camper.
Here we go.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So well done. Well executed. Nice setup. You had us on the edge of our seats.
Play his outro music.
Oh,
Just
can I play it in reverse? Imagine. That's fine.
I don't remember what
I
we were
should-
saying before that.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the
It really doesn't
trailer is going really quick, and it is
Yeah,
going
oh,
really,
yes.
really fast.
Here's my theory, is that it's going to be like building a house. Like you see houses go up and the frame goes up so fast. They get the siding on, they get the roof on. It's like, oh, they're almost done. It's like, no. Then you see
No.
vans outside there for another year until the house is done. So that's my theory, is like all the fiddly stuff, getting the doors all lined up and all that stuff is going to take a while. But
So
I
are
have-
you going to be done by January?
We'll see. End of the year is the deadline. So I'm trying.
So once you build the whole body, you're gonna bring it downstairs into the Max shop.
Yeah, so I'm going to basically, once I get all fiberglass and epoxy and everything, I'm going to bring it down, do the final sanding and the final varnish at the new warehouse space that nobody knows about yet.
Ooh.
We like started teasing it last time, and then we never
the
talked
secret
about it 'cause
Five
I-
Guys location.
Yeah, my
right?
my new franchise.
Right.
Which I guess you have to, because you can't varnish in December on the East Coast of. Are
It's
you
not gonna be
Maryland?
good.
Maryland? Yeah, it would be cold.
Yeah.
Where are you?
So that's
Why are you Massachusetts or Connecticut? Why do I always confuse the two?
how dare you,
What's whatever? It's a lot of history, colonialism, whatever.
Ma- Massachusetts.
That's the one.
Yeah,
Even I knew that.
I mean,
the
it's,
superior New England state.
okay.
All
Well,
right.
oh, there goes all of our Maine listeners.
Connecticut is just in the way, and they know it.
Connecticut is just New York light.
Yeah, you like drive through Connecticut, and you're like, why do you exist? Why are you here?
The Merritt is nice.
Because it's like you whenever you want to go somewhere, if I want to go south like to Jersey or anything like that, I don't know why I'd want to, but hypothetically,
Everybody
like
makes
Connecticut's
mistakes.
just in the way.
Anyways, I'll see you next week. Cool.
I do have to go to Jersey actually.
You have to go to Jersey in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's
so-
not on my bench. I guess we can talk about that though.
Yeah, and I mean, talk about even like if something else is coming up, because I feel like this is probably not the only project you're working on right now.
I mean, the camper's probably the rest of my year. It's the at least it's a priority. So I'm working 100% on that. And if I get some time between epoxy glue ups, then I'll do some other stuff. But we'll see. That's my plan for the rest of the year.
Nice.
Yeah.
You'll
I
be
think
talking
like
about
the varnishing itself, I feel like is going to take a week. Like it's like very detailed and it's got to look perfect.
but at least it won't be in your shop. So actually, do you want to talk about your new super secret Six Guys location that you kind of alluded at
Sure.
last time, and just like what your plan is for that? And it'll be cool for people to know about it.
Yeah. Like the
And
5 people
exactly
who
where
listen
it
to
is.
this, like it'll still be a secret.
Yeah. We have upwards of 10. Listen, oh no,
Yeah,
that's right. Maine is gone.
We're
so
closing
back
in
down
on
to
a
5.
dozen.
If you round up to the nearest dozen, we have 12
Yeah,
listeners.
Dan thinks a dozen is 2.
In Nebraska, a dozen's a different number from the rest of the world. Yeah, we bought a commercial space. We being me and my buddy Cam, we're kind of business partners, kind of sorta, and high school sweethearts,
Oh,
kind of.
Oh, don't
Probably
your
not.
wife doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, I have 2 high school sweethearts. But yeah, we bought a commercial space, and we're gonna kind of share the space. He does like tinting and vinyl and architectural design stuff, so he needed a space for that, and I needed just a little bit more space than what I have now. So all my retail stuff, so like my templates and my merch and all that, will be over there, and YouTube's still gonna be happening out of the barn.
Nice.
awesome.
That's it. So
And
it's empty for now. We should get the keys next week, I think, at this point.
Nice.
And yeah, it'll be completely wide open and empty, so I can varnish in there without any dust or anything like that.
do you have any plans for like any future videos of doing any sort of like shop build outs there?
Definitely, it's
I
right now
think
it's
that's a must.
yeah. So it's right now it's an empty box. It's like a brand new building, which is nice. We don't have to do much, but where you want to put like a loft in there, so like 2/3 of it, we're gonna put a second floor because it's like 20-foot ceilings right now, just an empty open metal building box. And we'll put a second floor on most of it, and then like all my shipping stuff will be upstairs, and then we'll have the big CNC downstairs. I think I'm gonna move my laser over there, and then we'll be able to pull cars in still, so you can do his vinyl and tinting stuff inside.
How big is that again?
I think it's like 20 by 60.
That's nice.
Pretty good size.
Yeah, especially once we get the second floor on, it'll be, I don't know, 2,000
Double that.
square feet.
Any
It'll be
room to move?
60% more.
Yeah,
whatever
look
that
at
is.
you. Wow. Math guy, 66%. You've gone 2/3.
Yeah, we were there
That's
this
awesome.
week. For the audio listeners, you can see
Oh
this.
wow. It just looks like a giant container.
Right.
It's a huge like container.
Oh.
Yes, exactly what I was thinking.
It looks like
So
the inside of a
how-
shipping container is 2 stories high.
The walls are bare, so how are we looking for power and stuff?
So there's a panel in there, and there's like a couple of plugs, and that's it. There's a bathroom, and otherwise it's just a bare box that we can customize.
So it's just like a den.
Oh wow! So you can like
A
drop
bare
electrical wherever you want.
Right.
Den. But
and
you have to drop
we,
electrical.
Oh, we'll drop electrical. But we can do whatever we want because we own the place. It's like it's a condo bay. Is what
You're
they
not
call it. So-
leasing it. You're going to own it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
So you can do kind of whatever you want, I guess.
Strip club
But yeah, I wonder what the regulations are for that.
And are
and a
we
Five Guys
talking-
franchise in the corner.
The Bears
Important
Den.
question here. Hang on. But shower in a bathroom?
There's 5 guys in the bathroom.
Why not?
In the shower.
Room shower? Oh,
In the
okay.
shower. There's 5 guys in the shower.
And what kind of power do you have in that location? Because I know the CNC that Mac has is large, but it's not a 3-phase, is it? Just 2? One
No, you gotta flip those letters around.
Cam. Sorry, not
Yeah,
Mac.
you got it.
Sorry.
I only work with people that have C and A and M in their name.
Dan?
Ah,
Pet.
C,
Oh.
C A and M. Yeah, sorry. Dan was close.
I'm
yeah,
out.
Dan's close.
Yeah.
So
Mac is my
Even-
shop teacher, so he's
yeah,
the
I
one
know.
that owns the barn. And yeah, Cam's my buddy from high school.
how much power do you guys have there? You don't know?
Enough. There's single phase power in
Okay,
there's
So single phase.
there's 3-phase in the building, but not in our panel. So if we need
So it's an
3-phase, it's there. We can.
You
run
got
it
the
to our
potential.
unit. Yeah.
Nice.
Dang, that's
But
pretty neat.
The CNC is, I think it's a 3-phase machine, but he's got a phase converter, so it can work wherever.
Got it.
Awesome.
Is that in his garage right now?
He has a bay right now that he's renting, so
Oh,
it's smaller than the one that we're getting. So we're gonna move the CNC and a bunch of his stuff over to the new space. So it's an upgrade because it's bigger for him, and then we get to share the expenses. So I don't need to get my own space, and he doesn't have to have his own space either. So it's kind of a win-win. And really, it's a property investment more than anything, because I think 5 years down the road we'll probably get a different space and rent that space out.
neat.
We'll see, unless it's underwater.
Slumlords.
Well, thanks for sharing. I'm just really
Yeah.
curious about that kind of stuff and what you guys are
Yeah,
planning.
so
on
we'll
doing.
see how that works out. That's the plan. So we'll have a video fitting it out and building the floor and walls and stuff upstairs, whatever that looks like.
Video idea for the floors.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard of this. I just came up with it just now. Pennies with epoxy.
Yeah.
I think
How
it'd be
many
awesome.
how many square inches is a penny? I want to do the math and see how many pennies it would take to cover that floor.
I think a penny is
Somebody grab
maybe
a caliper
1
and a
square
penny.
inch.
No,
Maybe.
Let's say it is. So 1,200 square feet. We're going to have 2/3 of that upstairs.
1,200.
So
Square
800
feet.
square feet will be the second floor. So square feet to square inches is times 144, right?
Correct.
That'd be 115,000 pennies if one is a square inch. And I don't think it is. It's probably 2.
I think it's a little bit smaller than a square inch, but
Let's
not
say
exactly
200.
half.
So 200,000 pennies. So that would cost what, $20,000?
Yeah, you got this.
That might be cheaper than wood flooring. I don't know.
Actually,
$20,000.
Plus-
Then the
plus-
epoxy.
Plus, that would be a great Total Boat sponsored video.
That would.
that'd be
Just
a
throwing
lot
out
of-
ideas here. I'm an ideas man as well.
It's either going to be that or basketball flooring.
Ooh.
Because I might
Do you
have
have enough of that though?
I might have enough.
Yeah, he might have enough.
I got so much of
He
that.
has ballpark a basketball court size.
Yeah. My wife's been working on taking that apart. So that we're
Oh.
slowly progressing through that pile.
Wait,
Why do you hate her so much?
one of your videos, you were like my girlfriend taking apart or like something assisting
My ex-girlfriend.
ex-girlfriend. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait. Oh, your wife. Okay. I almost messaged you
I was
back.
watching the
Technically, that's
gears turning.
correct.
I was okay. That all clicks now.
Is Emma not your ex-girlfriend?
She is my ex-girlfriend. Yes. I'm
There you
living
go.
with my ex-girlfriend. Yes.
Yeah.
That is technically correct. She's
Thank
in the
you.
house right now, so she's
Somebody
quite
else
busy.
just did a video where they called their wife their ex-girlfriend.
That is
Oh,
okay,
Chris
that's-
Salamoni. Yeah.
My first
Four
thought
Eyes.
was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow, he's really close. He moved back to his hometown. His wife's cool with this, I guess. All right, cool.
I also like calling her my roommate too.
Because I didn't see her face. It was just like she was wearing a hoodie. It was cold.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like all my roommates taking apart the flooring.
and then my high school sweetheart is
My high school sweetheart.
someone else.
He has a beard.
Oh my god.
But she's working for me now. So I don't know if I've talked about that yet.
With you. Oh, she doesn't listen to this. Yeah, for you.
Yeah, for me. Yeah. No, I'm the boss. She doesn't get paid much.
It's fine. She's clearly out of the house. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, she's busy taking apart basketball flooring.
Oh, dude, I got that nailer, the reverse nailer thing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, so good.
That's
that thing.
awesome. That saves so much time.
Mhm.
It
The
is
reverse
best.
nailer? I feel like
It's
this
the
is
one that like
The denailing
the
gun.
denailer.
Oh,
It's a pneumatic nailer that has like a piston. There's like a little thing that fits over the nail, and then a piston.
oh,
shoots
you
out the
said
nail.
reverse nailer, and I was thinking bad thoughts. I was like, reverse cowboy? What?
The
No.
reverse denailer.
Wouldn't a reverse denailer be an actual nailer though?
I don't know,
Like
but
a
you need a pallet
double-
to complete it.
It's like
That
a
is
double negative.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start calling nail guns a reverse denailer.
A reverse
Show title.
undenailer.
Yep.
There you go. So what else is going on? Anything else? Partner?
I don't know. I mean, the
Tariff?
teardrop, the flooring. I think that's it.
All right.
Once we get in the bay, I'll share some more of that. But that's
Please do.
I haven't talked about it yet because we don't even have the keys yet. It's just red tape. It's been getting pushed back. We were supposed to be there in September, And it is no longer September.
No, it's November, according to my calculations.
You sound like Spagnuolo just building up fake hype. I'm convinced he bought that firehouse months before he closed on it.
Yeah.
He was just, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen, guys.
Yeah, we're just moving out there. I don't know where we're gonna go. And then he's just like, he just moves because he wants to. Like, I wrote him when he moved. I was like, I move because I have to. And you just do it for the sport of it. Like, it's like he enjoys it.
He needs to.
He does seem to enjoy
stretch
it.
his muscles.
Right.
He's like, I haven't had a shop build out video in a while. Honey, we're moving.
Yeah, we need a new one. And
I mean, it's
Missouri?
brilliant.
It's Missouri, right?
Missouri. Yeah.
Missouri.
Who chooses that?
A few people have chose it.
Don't stop listening, people in Missouri.
We're going after Connecticut and Missouri this week.
Yeah, and Maine.
And Maine. And
Hey, shout out to Missouri. They actually passed recreational Mary Jane.
Oh,
all right. They're doing something.
They're doing something. Well, enough of us.
And they voted pro-slavery.
10 step forward, 10 steps back.
Right. One good thing, one bad thing.
Jeez.
All right. With that note, Pete, what are you up to?
Tennessee. We're shouting out Tennessee this week, too. We're taking out all the states.
No.
Let's move on.
Hit one coast and one central state. That's it. What did I do? Oh, I first of all, I got tricked into doing an auction with my best friend Paul, who may or may not be on this show. So 2 weeks ago when we were here, Paul asks me, hey, how close are you to Blairstown, whatever the town is? I'm like an hour. Why are you asking me in that way? And apparently there was a auction.
I'm triangulating your location.
Yeah, giant wood. After knowing my address,
Yeah.
There's a very large production woodworking shop. Hans Woodworking something was closing up after.
Han Solo. I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
Star Trek.
Right next to door to Chewy Customs. So they were closing up shop, and there was an auction going on. And I've always wanted to do an auction, especially for tools, because I see people getting really good deals. Paul was kind of asking me about it and see what he was going to get. And I signed up, did the auction. We actually both did. We both got some good stuff. I think the best part was I was super excited. I got a batch 12, what I thought at the time was 4x8 sheets of 1/4-inch exterior grade Baltic birch.
Yeah.
12 sheets for $336. Then I'm on a phone with Paul while I'm driving, and he's like, no, that's 5x10. I was like, what? Like, yeah, it's 5x10. I checked the listing, and it's 5x10 sheets. So 12 of them for $336, plus like really whatever they add like 15% on it. So I think it was like $370 or a little more over that.
Yeah, less than $400.
That's
Way
still an
less.
amazing deal.
So I called up my lumberyard on the way. I was just heading somewhere, and I'm like driving. I just called them up, and they said they did 5x5 sheets of that stuff for $59. So I got these for like, I don't know, like $25 a sheet.
Right. Double the size.
For twice the size.
Yeah,
it's bonkers. So
because we were talking, you're like, I think I might need to rent a truck. I was like, what are you talking about? You definitely have to rent a truck. These are 5x10s.
Yep. So I'm
like,
renting a truck.
Well, you can't strap it to the top of the Subaru.
Well, I was thinking like, all right, 4x8s. I could. They're 1/4-inch sheets, so they're kind of flexible. I could get them into my trailer at like an angle and bend them into place, but not 5x10. So I'm renting a truck. So I'm gonna go to Home Depot and get a truck next week. That's gonna be fun. But aside from that, I got a one of those like almost like a Home Depot cart. It's a material cart, but it's the one that like slightly leans to the left or right, whatever, however you're looking at it. So you can put sheets of plywood on there, and it stays on there, and you can roll it around. So I have a ton of material that's kind of in a 5x5 or 4x4 size in the.
It sounds like you're going to get some 5x10 material.
Well, yeah, but I'm probably gonna have to cut that down to fit it into my shed. So I'll cut it into like usable material size.
Cut in half.
Exactly, probably will.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be able to put it on his cart and roll it around my my shed. And what else did I get? Oh, and a router, the DeWalt palm router, the dual base one, the stationary, and
the DeWalt 611.
Yeah, for like, I don't know, it was like a little over half price. I think it was like $130 instead of $2. It's like $230 for a new one with both the bases. So
yeah,
wasn't bad.
Sounds about right.
No, it wasn't like a huge win, but I honestly, after the plywood, I was super excited. So next week I gotta coordinate. Actually, we're probably gonna go separately. Paul got some good stuff too, but I need to pick up that stuff next week.
Got a filing cabinet full of sandpaper.
Honestly, what did you pay for that thing?
I think it was like $300, maybe.
How big is the filing cabinet?
It's like a 3 foot, if not 4 foot wide, and like filled with sandpaper. There's
like
easily
strips or just random
$1,000
paper, or what are we talking about here?
rolls,
like
6 inch, 5 inch.
Yeah, belts.
Oh, rolls.
6 inch.
So not like hook and lube discs.
No, there's discs too.
6 inch discs, belts, and there's like just
everything
too. Yeah,
everything. There's easily $1,000
like a smorgasbord of sandpaper.
He's not gonna buy any for a long time.
Yeah, that was $500 with the fee and everything, but still, like that's thousands of dollars worth of sandpaper. Like I'm good for life.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have to be sponsored by no sandpaper company.
No,
same thing sandpaper, Rich.
I'm selling sandpaper.
Yeah.
You're a sandpaper magnate.
Random sandpaper of the club,
I'm a
or
sandpaper
of the month club, or whatever.
I'm a sandpaper magnet and a sandpaper magnate.
Yeah,
magnate. So anyway, so yeah, we did the auction. That was super fun.
Yeah.
And like a little exciting, felt a little bit like gambling because you're like, how far am I willing to go for this?
I know.
No, is this really worth it?
It's unhealthy.
Like I didn't need this material, but I would never get that price for that material, and I can cut it with my laser easily. So I was like, you know what? I'm getting it. Plus, I'll be putting in. So those that watch my stories, I have those silver panels, foam panels, right where the laser is. I'm actually going to go full Spagnolo and enclose those. And I just got my hands on some 1/4 inch Baltic birch. So I'm just going to probably frame that out and put that right over that wall. So that's going to be real nice. Might as well use it, right? And it'll be great because I can just screw stuff right into it. Aside from that, I picked up a bunch of pallets. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but they're not. I went to get pallets. Calm down, Paul. I actually never sent you the photos. I went to get pallets, and the pallets looked really rough. And then the other half were plywood pallets, which I don't want that. They're at a factory nearby. Pallets. But what they have is like tons of these weird spacers. So it's like 3 inch pallet wood, but it's frames. It's a 4 foot by 4 foot frame, and there's nothing in the center. So it's just 4 pieces of wood. They're pat lapped together. There's a pat lap, half lap joint on the corners. And I think I have like 40 of them in my my trailer, which means I don't have to like sit there and break apart these pallets. I can literally cut each corner off at a perfect 90, and I have these perfect lengths of wood. So saves me a lot of work. And I'm probably that wall that I'm doing, I might actually just fill the whole thing with pallet wood. So that'll be super fun. And it was all heat treated. So that was nice. What else? Yeah, gross. Etsy's been busy. I'm adding a bunch of new listings to Etsy. I'm getting into the template game. So today I cut my first acrylic templates on a laser. They came out so good.
Are you doing 1/4 inch or 3/8?
1/4 inch. Yeah. Is that okay?
1/4 inch is plenty.
I feel inadequate now.
No. 1/4 inch is good. I know a few people do
that's great.
3/8, but I think a 1/4 inch is fine. All the acrylic templates I do are 1/4 inch. That's why I was asking.
I'm gonna ask Emma if 1/4 inch is enough. Well, I've seen like 3/8 diameter. Might be short, but it's small. So I'm gonna probably do 1/4 inch because I can easily get it. 3/8 is a little harder to get. I know Crafted Elements, is that the one that does the templates? They work with
like
Total
silicone molds and stuff too.
Yeah, they do really nice ones. They do the 3/8. They're like really early.
So does Tyler over at Westfall Woodco.
Yeah, does he? Oh, does he do 3/8 as well? Yeah, it's just for me, it's 1/4 inch. I'm just getting into the game. I want to start doing some MDF ones on the CNC. I was kind of putting it off because I'm like, everyone does it, but you know what?
Acrylic is so expensive. I don't see the necessity to go 3/8 over 1/4.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why for these are, I just made 4 different design, what are they? Not cup holders. Jesus, coasters. English is so hard today. So I just made these coaster templates, like of different shapes, and I'm probably going to offer those. And then for like full cutting board or charcuterie board ones, I'm not gonna like pre-cut those. I'm just gonna offer them as like if you buy, I'll cut it because I don't want to just have stock sitting around. I figured it's easier. And I have a bunch of designs that I've done in the past, some that I've purchased from people in the past. So I'm just gonna cut them. Whatever. I don't know. More things to add to the shop. I'm trying to, guys. It's 45 days till Christmas today.
Bonkers.
2 weeks exactly from when you're listening to this. It's less. 2 weeks till Thanksgiving. So we're right there. People are shopping for the holidays now. I'm running a sale, as is someone else. You didn't talk about it. Too late. It's not on your bench. Get out of here. But
I'm going to cut in on you just like you did on me.
Sorry, I do it all the time. But yes, I'm doing some templates for coasters. I'll be doing some other stuff for charcuterie boards. And aside from that, last thing was I spent the weekend with Brooke and Michael and Sarah from Maker's Workshop, which was super fun. So they're an account that they're running a makerspace / like slab sale production shop. They have a CNC where they flatten them, they dry them, they slab them up once a year, and it's all locally sourced wood up in Boston. Around they're in Maynard, Massachusetts. So they're up in that area of Boston.
Are you just making up names?
No, I'm not. It's a place. Bing it. Yeah, it's a real place. So they came by because their daughter Sarah wanted to see Phantom, and we were talking about seeing Phantom of the Opera because it's closing up shop after like 30 years or something. So we went to the city and had like a full day of just running around. We saw everything. We saw the show. It was great, actually. Really enjoyed it. I'm not like a big Broadway guy, but I always enjoy it when I go. And then we just ran around the city and hit up all the major spots, and then went home, and we're very tired. But it was fun to have them around. We worked on some potential projects for the future, working together, and they're just like really awesome people to talk to and pick their brain about. First of all, like laser work, they do a lot of that stuff, CNC, and also running a makerspace. Basically, they've talked me both into it and out of it. They've talked me into doing it, but way later down the line, and out of it immediately. So that was fun, and that's kind of my week. Dan, what's on your bench?
Did I talk about last week how I finished up those 7 doors that I was doing for the interior of that new house? I don't remember.
You did not. Well, you mentioned you were 7 doors,
finished,
but you never set a direction.
I did finish up the 7 doors for the interior of that new house.
Up.
So
you finished.
Oh,
up?
is this where I dropped the 3 doors down joke?
7 doors down. It's like we're literally lobbing them to you, and you're just like, what do I do?
I don't get it.
7 doors down, like 3 doors down. But...
Okay.
Work on your
Kryptonite.
game, bro. Oh.
So, if I can't remember if I mentioned it or not, but I finished those up. But I got a message like 2 or 3 days ago. Apparently, this is information that would have been amazing to have during the time of building these doors. Apparently, this house is going to have no trim, 0 trim. All the seams are going to be visible.
Yeah.
So I left some of the doors a little gappy, thinking that some of the door jambs a little gappy, thinking that, it's no big deal. It's going to be covered up by trim. And I showed this all in my stories. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you missed it because the stories are gone.
Explain it better. Paint a picture.
So when you build a door jamb, you have to have a stop for the door itself. And I made that stop, instead of being just like a single strip in the middle of the door jamb, I made it to where the door stops and the jamb itself, or the stopping plate, goes all the way to the back of the door jamb. So the door jamb looks thick. But we glued it in place and Brad nailed it. But I wasn't real concerned about leaving a perfect, like cutting board's seam. Yeah. Like when you do a cutting board, you want no gaps whatsoever. I was not worried about that because, there's going to be trim on it and it doesn't matter. So I got this text and I got this call saying, hey, we need this cleaned up. And I was like, what? Come on. This information would have been useful like a couple weeks ago. So I went back and I buttoned it up. I just basically filled it with putty and sanded it and made it look all nice because they're going to paint it anyway. So
they're painting it anyways, right?
Yeah.
So
frankly,
Rude.
I could have said, hey, that's not my problem. You never gave me that information. This could be like the problem of your painters or somebody else. But I decided to just, own it and be like, yeah, no problem. I'll come take care of it. And, just decent customer service, right?
So you built the door jambs too, right?
I built the door jambs and the door. Yeah.
So how are they seamlessly merging the wall with the door jamb?
See, that's what I was confused about, because I also made them in such a way that, thinking that there's going to be trim, they're going to have to shim them in place and make sure that they're level and perfect and everything. Apparently they're going to put some sort of like edging on the drywall that comes up to the door jamb itself and has like a 90-degree, and
they're going to trim it out, but on
they're going to trim it out, but it's going to be like a trimless trim. It's I can't wait.
There's plastic beads that they use for that, and they'll run it along. There'll be like a little 1/8-inch gap or something, like an air gap, and they put the drywall over that, and then they plaster into that plastic bead that goes along the whole length.
Well, there you go. I'm learning about this all this week. I had no idea this was a thing.
So I don't know if they put the doors in before the drywall. I'm not exactly sure how it goes together, but it's all these plastic beads.
Rich people doors.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. It's ridiculous. Whatever.
That was the place I was telling you guys about 2 weeks ago that had the super expensive millwork package of $500,000, and it was all just MDF covered in walnut veneer, which the homeowner probably never knew about.
Yep.
The entire house had no trim, no baseboard, nothing. And it was all these plastic beads, and all the plaster just makes up for it.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
So much work.
Yo, if you're gonna build a house, put trim on it.
Yeah.
Hell.
Hide the mistakes.
What are you doing?
A house moves. The trim helps.
It really does. I don't understand how that's gonna work.
So with that house that we built, there was a fight with the owner back and forth. He's like, I don't want any gaps under the doors. We're like, okay, there's got to be some gap.
You have to have a gap.
And these were MDF doors, 2 inches thick, 10 feet tall, I think, floor to ceiling. And he's like, no, there can't be any gaps. So like, no, it has to be. Like
no sound could escape this basement.
Yeah, I was like, what do you want?
There has to be a gap.
Yeah, so we eventually convinced him of that, and then we had these strips that embed themselves in the bottom of the door. You cut a dado, these metal strips, and when the door shuts, they drop down to seal off the bottom of the door. So there's like a little piston on the hinge side of the door that when the door shuts, that piston goes in, and it drops this strip down inside the door.
Yeah, there's definitely something sketchy happening there.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
modern architecture. I hate it.
Will this pen be scream proof?
Can you easily clean blood off of these doors?
Okay. Anyway, doors.
Oh, back to your murder house.
3 down.
Plus 4.
4 also.
So
anyway, I think I mentioned last week that I got accepted into like a craft fair for the 19th here in Omaha, which I'm pretty stoked about. So I've been trying to like come up with some products and stuff to have there other than like cutting boards. Cutting boards are nice, but I'd like to offer some other things. So I've been, kind of messing around in the shop and trying to come up with things. And I was messing around with like a wine rack, and I like the direction it took. And it's really interesting. I don't know how to like describe it. It's circles. I'm not very good at describing things, you guys. I'm a terrible person to have on a podcast.
Like imagine a figure 8, but there's
literally no like crossover
line.
line. Yeah,
with the center being gone.
It's like a racetrack, sorta.
Okay.
Anyway, I spent way too much time on a wine rack. I don't drink wine, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But I like the way it came out.
You drink $3.
Oh yeah. I bought this $3 wine from Walmart so I could take pictures.
It's purple paint thinner.
It's so bad. It's so bad, you guys. It's worth every bit of $3, I guess. $2.96.
It's mainly the glass you're paying for.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So yeah, I spent way too much time on this wine rack, but I do like the way it turned out. I think it's neat, but we'll see how it does at the craft show. And like Pete said, Etsy is keeping me super busy. I've had a really good couple days over there, so it's kind of bonkers how well that is doing.
They've been
Good.
running podcast ads. I heard recently. I was like, I was surprised by that.
Really?
Yeah, they're like
Etsy?
plugging they're plugging
Ooh.
the holiday sale or whatever they called it, the November sale. They're like, yeah, a bunch of people have stuff on sale this month. And it was just
Oh
like
yeah,
a generic
I'm part of
Etsy
that.
ad.
I think it
As-
starts like
as do I.
next
We gotta
week
hit up
or 2
Etsy, see if
weeks.
we can get
Yeah,
ads.
you can only be a part of that if you offer 20% off for that
Yep.
week or something like that. I can't
It's
remember
for
exactly.
it's like a 3-week plus sale that they were the pre-holiday, and then Cyber Monday is the next one, and then pre-holiday, and then
I
holiday.
gotta
It's like,
raise my prices to get on these sales.
basically, you got to run a basically 20% off sale for the rest of the year.
Ugh. All right, yeah, raising prices.
Yep.
Anyway, look me up. I'll be running a sale after I raise prices. My week's not that exciting as Paul's and Pete's, but that's basically it. Oh, Isaiah's been gone. He went on a surfing trip or a surfing photography trip, but he's coming back tomorrow, and I'm
Coming
excited.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, he's super helpful to have in the shop. It's nice to have somebody in the shop working with you.
Well, have you felt less motivated without him there?
I actually have felt less motivated. Like when he's here, like I have to be like, okay, I need to go to the shop because I actually have to, provide.
Yep.
And when he's not here, I'm like, I could sleep in a little bit. I can take the kids to school and come back and go back to sleep for a little while. No big deal. So yeah, it does help with motivation. It
I
really
feel
does.
that a lot because I may have mentioned this before. I definitely feel the benefit of the concept of body doubles. A person with me, I get way more done. Like
Yeah.
even I was working on my website the other day because someone was like, "Come on, you said you wanted to like finish up. Like sit down and just let's knock it out." And she just sat behind me and I just worked. She wasn't even. She was once in a while helping me with some like layout choices or whatever, but just having another person there really just like gets you going. Like no wonder Mike gets so much done. He has someone around all the time. And for me also, if I ever have someone in the shop helping, I'm not the kind of person where like I can't just stand around while someone else is working. I have to be working just as hard with them to like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know if you're trying to prove it to them, to yourself, to whatever, but having a buddy.
Well, I feel responsible a little bit. So
Yeah. Like
I don't want to let them down.
Paul's got Jack, the skateboard. So
He's always watching.
he's
man.
always watching.
Little sheriff over there.
Little sheriff, deputy.
Yeah. Emma wasn't watching. She was just stuck in the beanbag chair and couldn't get out.
But the concept of a body double is a real thing. And actually, we see a lot of that on the stoop where people are, they'll be working in their shop and they're just like cranking stuff out because we're all like hanging out on a call and they just want to look busy, but not, it gets more work done that way. Anyways, I'm just rambling at this point. Should we do questions?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So, who wants to go first? I guess, Kimani, we'll let you go first. Kimani von Strayhorn.
Hey guys, so when I heard Jackman was going to be back, I figured I'd call in and say, hey, last time I called in, I was just joking about all that pallet burning stuff. I don't even use pallets for anything, but the information about heat treated versus chemically treated was very useful if I decide to use them in the future. So thank you for that. I mean, that's how I wanted to start. And then I caught up on the episode that he was on, and I almost had a brain aneurysm that wanted me to burn things down. Listening to everyone try to figure out the artist who was doing his intro music. It's Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. I don't understand. It was not that hard. The song that was the song of the summer. How's everyone not knowing that was the song of the summer? Anyway, my question now is about dust boots. I'm getting close to finishing my CNC build. I have a Onefinity Journeyman, and I'm looking for a good dust boot option. I know there are a lot of different brands out there that make them. I essentially have all the tools now with a 3D printer to actually maybe make my own. So I just want to get ideas from you guys about what you use for dust collection for your CNC machine in terms of like a dust boot attachment. or maybe just building one might be the best bet for me. I'm going to be using a spindle upgrade, Dan. So, I'll be using an 80 millimeter instead of the standard 65 that most hobbyist CNCs start with. So just looking for recommendations as I finish up my build. Thanks.
Dan.
Well, let me start off by first saying that last weekend, Nick Brim came over, and we were gonna switch out my router for the spindle finally, and then we got to hanging out and enjoying adult beverages, and then we didn't, and that's where I'll leave that.
Say the number.
3 beers down.
3 beers down times 8. Nick and I drank
so you had 8
24 beers
3 times. It's fine. It was Miller Lights. They were.
I didn't drink 24. Nick didn't drink 24, but we drank half each. So
how many did Max have?
Max had 0.
Oh,
to be fair, it was Busch Light, so it wasn't like
it's dirty water.
A lot. So yeah, we didn't do any spindle switching out.
Don't you have a strip screw on there?
We did. Yeah, I have a strip screw on the backside, so that's why it's never been done. When I initially started to take off the spindle, I stripped a screw out, and I just like threw my hands up, and I was like, nope, not doing this, and I put it back on, and I haven't touched it since.
Don't make me fly out there for this one thing.
Please do.
No, I won't. It's too much.
I want you to come visit me. I think it'd be fun.
All right, anyway, if I pay for it, I'll come out.
Okay.
Oh God.
Threaten me with a good time.
Dan needs a body double.
Yes, he does. One that does everything for him. You should see when we were in Dan's shop. Me and Mike are just working on his entire shop, like moving stuff around, cleaning stuff up, whatever. And Dan's just like, "Yep, nice, that's good." And then we're at Mike's shop. I'm helping Mike out. We're working. I'm sanding, whatever. I'm like, "Dude, give me some work. I want to help you out." Dan's just like, "Yep, go." Just like he's just king of the hill. You're king of the hill the whole time.
On vacation. I'm who's the Brewbauer? Who's the guy who can't talk on King of the Hill? Boomhour. Okay, back to Kimani's question.
That was a question.
So yeah, I was gonna do the spindle switch, but we didn't. I will say, as far as the dust boot goes, I use a dust boot from Mike over at Pix to Proto. He sells them on Etsy. They're great. They're great dust boots, but I am actually kind of looking for something a little bit more robust now. Mike's dust boot is great, but I do use my CNC a lot more than a hobbyist would or should. The Onefinity is a hobbyist machine, quote unquote. But I do use it quite a bit, and it's a little bit. I use it more than I probably should, so I really should change out.
No such thing.
I really should change out the router to the spindle. With that said, Mike over at Pix to Proto, his dust boots are 3D printed, and I don't know how well that plastic holds up, but with all the use that mine gets, I feel like the plastic gets worn out, and I'm on my second one now. And it's in need of replacement, so I'm actually thinking about going something with a little bit more girth or strength. So Pete's making a face, so I want to hear what he has to say.
No. Just need a little more girth.
I need a more girthy, strengthy boot.
Yeah. Oh, ladies. So Kimani, first of all, I don't know what you're talking about. That was that lady that was singing last week. I don't think that was any of the people you listed. I thought it was. I'm pretty sure it's someone else. That might even be Taylor Swift. Honestly, I don't know. The new album is a little confusing.
I'm telling you, it's Nicki Minaj.
I don't. It could be honestly Whitney Houston. Who knows? Anyways, as far as the dust boot goes, I use the Suck It one, which is not an insult. It's just the one that. I think the guy that invented the Suck It boot is a co-founder of Onefinity. So it's like
you can buy it right from the Onefinity website.
You buy it from their site. I actually really like it. I think it's really good. It works with the 80 millimeter spindle because basically it doesn't attach, whereas some boots will attach to your router or your spindle. Theirs is adjustable, so you set it to the height of the material, and then the actual router or spindle drops down. So one thing I'll say with that one is two things actually. I have the 80 millimeter spindle on there, and that thing is girthy. It has girth, Dan, which is what you're looking for. If you had a spindle, maybe you wouldn't feel like you're running your thing too ragged, giggity. But that spindle does kind of cut it real close with that boot. So if you have like a 2.5 inch line going to it and it's clamped on, it might kind of bump or rub against it. So I actually have it on like a 90 pointed away, and it clears it perfectly. The other thing with that same thing, the dust boot kind of snaps on with magnets, perfectly adequate if you have good flexibility with your hose. If your hose, however, is not, if it's very rigid and it's going to pull that thing off, you might have issues because it could actually pull it off of your machine, and then, spinning spindle plus plastic equals disaster. So that's something to consider. I use the blue Rockler hose, which is just their dust right hose, super flexible. Highly recommend it. That might be a good option. If you want, hit me up or call me. I'll show you my setup, but that'll probably be fine for you. But Mike's stuff, Mike makes very solid stuff.
Yes.
The 3D printed stuff does hold up. I highly recommend it. Pixaproto, go check him out. He makes a lot of.
I wasn't trying to say anything bad about Mike.
No. You're a heavy
I don't want
user.
anybody to take it that way.
Yeah, same thing with like all of my 3D printed items. They hold up great, but there's some people that like use them and they abuse them, use them and abuse them. So like they can wear out just like any other thing that's plastic. So same with a socket boot, like it could wear out or break. But I think it's a good option. I don't know. I like Onefinity too. I like supporting them. I usually like to find a third party or my own versions of things, but I was happy to just buy it and have it be working. Paul, do you have any opinions about the dust collection on a CNC?
I get all of my boots from carolinashoe.com using the coupon code Jackman.
Should have saw that coming a mile away.
I've been waiting 10 minutes to make that joke.
Oh, God, you kids.
I have
right.
the X-Scarf Pro, and I just use the stock dust boot on there, which is okay.
Okay,
it
but
works.
it's not.
I got the prototype machine, and I complained about it. And they're like, well, we went through so much engineering, and that's the best design that there is. And I said, well, in real world use, it gets clogged up. And they said, go pound sand. Not really.
And then you move to the beach.
No, I told them I didn't love it. And they're like, well, we went through a lot of iterations, and that's the best one that there is. So it's sexy the way that it's designed. It's very slender and fits in well with the machine, but it gets clogged up if you're cutting, I guess, with the grain. If there's like big wafers that come off of it, it's a pinch point, I guess.
Yep.
Let me ask you guys this: are you using 2.5 inch hose or 4?
2.5 to 4.
I
I have
think
a 4-inch dust collector, but I'm running a 2.5 inch line to the boot.
Okay.
Same for me. I think it might even be a 2-inch hose to the machine.
I will
but
say this.
off
I
the
will
dust
say this
collector.
about Mike's dust boot. I run a straight 4-inch hose. I mean, it's great. That's one of the things I love about it. But like you said, Pete, I use and abuse it. I absolutely use it.
And in my case, because it is a magnetic attachment, a 4-inch hose could be a little rigid. It might pull it off.
Yeah.
So if I modified that socket boot a little bit, if it had like locking pins, it might be a little better. But something to consider. So it's good to know about the X-Carve one.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, as long as it does the job. How often do you use your CNC, would you say?
I don't know. Not a ton. Once a month, maybe.
Yeah.
Depends on the
Yeah.
project I'm working on.
I use that laser more now.
Yeah, I've been using that a lot.
Yeah, things don't.
I'm running my CNC 4 or 5 hours a day. I mean, if
Yeah,
I don't do that much.
So
Dan,
it
like
gets a lot of abuse.
wherever you're moving next, because I know you're going to move at some point, that like the first thing to be replaced is going to be your CNC.
Well,
You're
I'm going to
eat
get
up.
a second Onefinity. I'm fingers crossed that they release the 48 by 48. I think that's coming down the pipe. We'll see.
I think you're right. I think that's a smart move for them because they'll basically destroy like the 4x4 scene for like
X-Carve
half
Pro.
the cost. Yeah. So is the X-Carve Pro like true 4x4?
It's a 4x4, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're gonna.
Yeah, and they have tiling, so you can do like, send sheets through. But Onefinity does that too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got time.
It does as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Neat.
the most cutting bed it has right now is 32 by 48.
Yeah.
But
Which
I
is,
really feel like 48 by 48 is coming down the pipe. So we'll see.
like I said, I
That's
haven't
just
hit a
pure
point.
speculation on my point.
I think you're right. I think
my
honestly,
part.
and like they're just gonna keep pilot on features on that thing because it's like they're not done. They keep adding little things and like releasing random things. So I'm excited to see what they got.
So update on the dog. It took him 11 months to build the camper.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
really?
good.
It took
No,
them,
thanks.
sorry. It
Them.
took them 11 months to build the camper. And they said it's addicting. I've made a kayak now, and I'm working on a sailboat kit currently, all without using my thumbs.
I like this dog.
I like the detail.
Me too.
All right, next question. So that's it, right? We're good. All right.
Yeah.
Next question is my man, Daniel Taylor. I hope he comes in hot.
What's going on, guys? This is Daniel with Taylor Custom Crafted, calling in for a second week in a row, new record. Anyways, listen, I appreciate you guys taking the time to answer my question last week. Sorry, I come in a little bit hot, like a little schoolgirl, a little giddy. Anyways, question this week is, and I'm going to kind of piggyback Tomas' question from last week. Gran question, Tomas. But to piggyback that, I want to ask, what editing software do you recommend for doing YouTube videos, especially for somebody that's never done it before and really doesn't have a clue what they're doing, but just ease of use, all the tools, you know, that kind of stuff. Anyways, appreciate it, guys.
Okay. Dan?
Yo, if you're brand new and you have no idea what you're doing, just use the editing software that comes on your computer, whether that be a Mac. If you have a Mac, you're going to use iMovie or something like that, or whatever the editing software that comes on a PC is at this point. I have no idea what it is.
Like Movie
Windows
Maker,
Movie Maker?
is
Movie
no
Maker?
longer a thing. I think that's
Yeah,
that
start
went
off
the way of
simple like
Paint.
that. Because here's the thing. Most of the general features, you're going to be able to like use that knowledge and like transfer that over to like a more robust like editing software. Because I say this because the features that iMovie have are kind of the same, or at least the same language or the same controls or whatever as what do I have now? The what is this?
Final Cut Pro?
Final Cut Pro. See, even I
Wow.
don't know. They're kind of the same. Even the shortcuts are pretty much the same. So I would say do that. Start easy and kind of move up. What do you say, Paul? You do a lot of editing?
Yeah.
I use Adobe Premiere Pro. So if you're in the Adobe ecosystem, that's a good way to go. If not, I would recommend DaVinci Resolve. It's a free editing software, open source, similar to Premiere Pro, as far as I know. They also have like an After Effects clone and a Photoshop clone, not really a clone, but like their own version of it. So you can kind of get that suite of software, and I think it's all free, as far as I know.
Mhm.
We'll be right back after this break.
They sell. You're not doing this. We talked about this.
Oh, we're going to commercial.
No, we're not going to commercial.
I have ads.
No.
Go to jackmanworks.com. We currently have an Adirondack sale going on. 20% off all Adirondack stuff. Plans, templates, kits, anything. 20% off with code Adirondack at checkout. Expires on 11/15. That's November 15th. And back to your
Alright.
program.
I'm charging you for that ad. You were saying I was going to pull that crap. I said no. Anyways, thank you to Casper Mattresses for good night sleep. I wish we should get that one. Jesus, Jackman.
What was the question?
Editing
software do you use?
Yeah.
What
check
did
out
you use
DaVinci.
before? Because you used like
I use Sony Movie Studio, which I got on eBay. It was like $30 for a disc, like a CD, and it worked. It like does all the basic editing stuff. You can't do much like masking and green screen and all the fancy stuff, but
that's what I'm
editing
saying.
and
Start
putting in
basic.
audio, yeah, it does everything that you want to do to edit a video. Other options are using your phone or using an iPad.
Yep.
Yeah, I
know
think
some people that do that.
Doesn't I think Jason Hibbs over at Bourbon Moth has talked about how he shoots everything on his iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he edits on his phone, but he definitely shoots it all on that.
Well, I don't know where he edits. I've never
Yeah, I
talked to
don't know.
him.
But you're not that close with him?
No, we're not.
Oh,
We're not close.
okay.
I know
I'll get you
Kyle
guys in
Toth.
contact.
Kyle Toth used to shoot on I think an iPod Touch, and he shot on a GoPro, transferred it to his iPod Touch, edited on his iPod, and then somehow published that on YouTube from there.
On his iPod?
His iPod, right? I don't think he does that anymore.
I should
But
hope
it's-
not.
Meanwhile, I can't sit down and
It's
edit
an option.
unless like the weather is just right and like my I have the right comfy clothes on and the lighting's just correct. And these guys are like, yeah, just edit just do my videos on a train. I commute
Yeah.
to work.
There's Adobe Rush, which is a mobile video editing.
Oh yeah, I
app.
heard it. I heard it's really good.
I don't know if that's free or if you have to have the Adobe subscription for that.
Mhm.
I
think
do all my editing on my phone in InShot. I think we've talked about that
mobile, yeah.
before.
I do InShot as well. It's great. You pay
It's
for the
fantastic. It's like
$4 a year, whatever it is.
$6 or whatever it
or
is.
something. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And honestly, TikTok is getting really like the TikTok editor is getting really good, and the Instagram one's not so good.
Yeah,
but
Adobe Rush is similar to the TikTok editor.
you want to be able to move stuff around, trim it, and I think one of the more valuable things is export audio from clip, because especially with Instagram, if you're trying to edit outside of Instagram or TikTok but match up the audio, I'll literally screen cap the audio and then like record the video of my screen while the audio is playing, drop it into my editing software, export the audio, and edit my video over that so I know my cuts are perfect.
Man,
'Cause
that sounds like
editing
a
on
pain.
Instagram- It just for very special cases, I have to do that because like I want to get the drops just right. Something.
Here's another tip. If you're going to choose any of these softwares, make sure that it has like some sort of community behind it. That way you can actually go ask other people questions about how to use it.
That's the
don't
nice
use,
thing about Adobe
yeah.
is there's so many message boards out there for everything.
Don't use some like random editing software you've never heard of just because it's cheap or something.
Jim's video cutter.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Damn, Jim.
So what is that a cat? Okay.
That was Paco.
Paco. So I use Final Cut Pro. I used iMovie at some point. I went straight from iMovie to DaVinci Resolve. It was overwhelmed by the features. It has too many features. And so DaVinci Resolve is made by Blackmagic Design, who is a major camera and editing equipment manufacturer. So they offer DaVinci Resolve for free because that's not the product they're selling. That's just the thing that helps with the stuff that they sell. But there is like a pro version, I think, that gives you, they're apparently really good for like color matching and stuff, but that's really high level stuff. All you really need, which is pretty much all I use InShot for, is cut, delete, move your clips around, and like put voiceover or audio into it. Like those like 5 features I feel like are great. And one thing that I would say makes editing a lot easier, not that I do that much of it, but it's something that made it easier for me. I have a little Stream Deck from Elgato. So I have the big version and I have the little 6-button one. And on the 6-button one, I actually have hotkeys set up for Final Cut. So, because to cut, so like if you get to a spot and you're like, oh, I don't need the rest of this clip, you usually have to cut, tap it, delete it. Or you do like a Command Shift and like plus, I think, or something, or a bracket that cuts to the end of the clip. Or you could set up a hotkey on this on a Stream Deck, and you basically hit one button and it deletes everything from that spot to the end. So it made at least the trimming of the video, which honestly is for editing video, that's the part that takes the longest. That made it a lot faster for me. So I was able to do blade, cut to the beginning, cut to the end with 3 buttons, and then a couple different, like 2 or 3 more buttons after that. Sped things up. But I use Final Cut Pro. I think it's great. iMovie is really awesome. And honestly, if you're starting out, use iMovie if you have a Mac, because it has all the features you need and nothing else. You will not be overwhelmed. And they have a great community behind it. And then InShot for your phone. What does Mike use? I forget. I don't know. Mike will tell us next week what he uses.
I know he used to use LumaFusion.
Yeah, LumaFusion. I think he's
But I think he actually steered away from that for some reason.
Oh, I think it was editing the pod even in LumaFusion because dropping the audio in there and clipping it was easy.
He doesn't
LumaFusion is a
anymore.
good option. He spoke very
That's-
highly of it.
Editing the pod is exactly why I have Final Cut Pro now, because I edit the pod in Final Cut Pro.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to drop audio in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. All right. Last question is from Thomas from France. Here he is with his outrageous question.
There's one sound that no one knows. What does the
French.
say?
Hey guys, it's Thomas here. I've been trying to work on something this morning and I need your help. So I made this desk design on Fusion 360 for my girls and I wanted to export the PDF, but it's not available anymore with the free version. So I managed to export the DXF and to convert it in PDF, but now I have trouble putting those on regular paper, regular size paper. I'm using the A4 size, and it's to make the templates. I'm actually installing SketchUp. Hopefully I can do it while it's on the trial version. And I was wondering, how do you do for your templates? Is there a secret website? Or do I have to give Fusion Cache that I actually don't have? Merci, à plus. Paul, mange mon cul. You know what it means.
Dan?
I speak French.
Let Paul go because I wasn't really following that
Le Paul?
so well.
Basically, he's asking, do we have a software that we use, or how would we do plans, or how do we actually do plans right now?
I think
'cause he
templates,
wants to get templates, and well, I think he was trying to export the DXFs to get. Well, let's talk about templates and plans, basically.
Yeah.
Like, how would you do those? So, Paul, you're kind of the only one that really sells those. Go.
I mean,
Tell us all your secrets.
yeah, so SketchUp Pro, I think you can import DXFs from that probably, and you can export PDFs. So that's how I make templates and plans. I export from SketchUp to a PDF, and then from that PDF, you can open that in Illustrator or whatever, and you can edit that. My plan sets I actually make in Bluebeam. It's a PDF editing software. It's like a construction software, and I just was familiar with it from my construction job, and you can it's made for scaling stuff and architectural plans. So it's not really made for doing that, but it works good for it. I think there's an Adobe PDF editing. I mean, I think InDesign is what I'm thinking of. There's an Adobe product for that. I don't know. That's it though. We'll be right back after this break.
No, stop it.
Speaking of plans, 20% off.
Dan.
I don't do plans.
I muted him. Okay, he's muted him.
I don't do plans, so I don't have a good answer there. As far as templates go, I only offer MDF templates. I don't even do acrylic like Pete and Paul. I draw all those up on Aspire and I export them that way. But I actually just offer physical templates. So I don't think I have a good answer for anything you're asking, Toma. I'm sorry, Pete.
So the few times I made templates and plans.
Is he talking about paper templates?
So I think he's just talking
That's my
about
assumption.
Yeah, I'm assuming
it sounds like he's talking about paper templates.
But it'd be hard. He
Glue
was talking
on
about
paper templates.
But he was talking about a desk and then he wanted them to be basically I'm gonna answer for both. So
All right.
The only time I've made plans is I actually, even though I actually pay for Fusion, they take my money, Thomas, all of my French rubles or whatever you guys use. They take my money, and I actually ended up just taking
Francs.
screenshots of all the stuff on the screen, all the measurements, the sketches. I made sure everything had dimensions, and I just took screenshots of that and I put that into a PDF. So I made that in, I think, literally in Word or something, and I just dropped in the picture, wrote the text next to it, and that's what ended up being my plans. And as far as templates, if I was doing some to save the DXF or the SVG, I do use Fusion 360. I think it's great for that. It's probably the best software for drawing stuff in there if you're trying to be very mathematical about it. It doesn't really give you a lot of free form. You can do free form with a mouse, but you can't really quite draw it. For that, one software that I highly recommend, it's only about, I want to say $30 here in the US. It's Affinity Designer. Affinity is another kind of like Adobe clone that's actually really good for design stuff. It's very cheap, and you buy it and you just have it, which is great because Adobe you have to pay
It's
for
a
it every
one-time
year.
purchase.
Yep. So they have Affinity Photo, which is a great photo editing software. It's the one I learned on because I couldn't afford Adobe at the time. Affinity Designer is really, really good for any kind of designing. If you're trying to do SVGs, DXFs, all that. I'm not really fluent with it, but I've watched a lot of videos on it just to try to get the hang of it. And it looks really robust. And anytime I've used it for stuff, it's been very powerful. Has all the features I need. And it's really cheap. So I would recommend that. And the last one is like now with Adobe has the Creative Cloud thing. So you kind of pay a subscription, but get everything within a certain scope. So it might be worth checking that out. I don't know if that's offered in France as well, but I would say if you're trying to do SVGs and DXFs, try that because that's a low cost of entry, the Affinity Designer way, because otherwise you're kind of paying for a lot, whether it's Aspire or Vectric Pro or
And Aspire is not cheap.
Affinity. It's not cheap, but even with Vectric Pro and all that. Another good one is Lightburn, which is a laser software, but it actually gives you a lot of import and export ability. I actually, if I ever offer the plants or SVGs or DXS, whatever, I'll drop in my SVG into Lightburn, and Lightburn will export to like 6 different formats. So it's a really nice software to use.
It's not very expensive either, right?
It's I
wanna
want to
say it's like $60,
now
$70.
I think it's a little more now. I think
Can
it's
you do
80
that?
something bucks, but it's for like
Okay.
so you own it for forever, but you get 2 or 3 years of updates. As the programs get newer and newer, you get updates with it, but you could just use that software forever.
Can you do that with Easel Pro? Isn't Easel free? I don't know about the Pro version, but Easel isn't that Xcarves?
Yeah.
You're saying
Software?
it could be more easily made than that?
No, I don't know. Can you import and export?
You can
Oh, got it.
export SVGs from there.
I mean,
So that
there's
could
an
potentially
option.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's talking about like paper. He said like A4 size paper and like
Yeah.
printing it out on paper. The way that I format that for like my Adirondack chairs, as an example, I have
20% off jackmanworks.com.
20% off. Thank you. I have the full size layout that you can print out on like a plotter, a 36-inch plotter if you want, or in Adobe, if you go to print a page that's bigger than like letter size or A4 size paper, you can hit poster and that will break it down into individual sheets. So
Yeah.
if you have a sheet of paper like I do that's 36 inches wide, it'll pick out letter size papers, and then it'll have little tick marks in the corner, and you can tape them together to get templates however big you want. But that's through Adobe Acrobat, I guess, the PDF software.
Okay.
Honestly, Tomas, if there's one thing I'm going to say though, it's worth paying some money for the amount of time and learning you're going to save yourself to do some of these things.
True.
So don't try to go with like for completely free software. There are options out there, but how much is your time worth? Do you want to do 30 minutes of research and get your project done with one software that you paid $30 or $50 for the year or forever? Or do you want to sit there for hours for something free and then not really learn that much? So pros and cons.
Yeah, if it's a really basic shape, you could try drawing it in easel and exporting that and seeing if that works. That's a good idea.
You're welcome.
Also, a good idea, I think, is wrapping up this episode. That's all our questions for the week.
And we'll be right back.
Ed, stop it. Go check
Play 'em
out DDWW. What's your Etsy shop name?
ddwwstore.etsy.com.
Etsy.com and Peachy's Workshop.etsy.com for a 20% off sale on my shop. Full price.
I think I'm doing like 15% currently, but I'll be doing
at the
20% around Black Friday.
And 20% off sale for Jackman.
No.
I already got my ad breaks in.
Yeah, I get your ad read.
You're going to edit them all out, though.
Nah, I won't.
If you want to help support the show, make sure to sign up for Patreon, where we drop all of our content early. And that's just a great way to help us continue doing this wonderful stuff. That's also where you can get a shirt if you're a top tier patron. And Paul's got a finger in the air.
I forgot the making fun news. We talked about it before the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You want to talk about the making fun news?
Everybody's already done listening, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, no, we're still here.
Making
Still
Fun was nominated for an Emmy, for a kids Emmy.
What? That's awesome.
Wait, kids Emmy, is that like
a fake
like
Emmy?
smaller?
It's probably like it's a smaller version of the Emmy.
Okay, that's still cool.
Is that like a Nickelodeon award?
Yeah,
So-
it's the blimp.
Basically, the Nickelodeon blimp. They're all gonna get slimed.
Yeah, that's what I want to see, actually.
Jimmy,
No,
like,
my
my hair.
That's awesome, Paul.
That's actually really cool.
awesome.
Yes, we just found that out this week. So it's pretty
That's
cool.
super cool.
I hope you get it. That way, if we ever
that's
have you
pretty much
on
just-
again, we can be like Emmy Award winner Paul Jackman.
Good, it'll give me an intro.
The show producer sent us, we had like a group message, everybody in the cast, and he sent us the news, and we're like, oh, that's really cool. Everybody was like all excited, and then I didn't say anything. I just sent a screenshot of my Instagram bio that now says Emmy nominated in it.
So you're nominated. You're not even a winner yet.
No, just nominated. But
I'm
that's
going
okay.
to change my Instagram
Oh.
bio to friend of Emmy nominated.
there you go.
Friend of
Friend of Emmy nominee.
I'm gonna change the AWP bio to loosely associated with Emmy nominated celebrities.
There you go.
Emmy nominated adjacent content.
There we go.
There you go.
I like
Really
it.
selling it. Oh, I'm gonna ride these coattails. And if you want to ride these coattails, make sure to sign up patreon.com/another woodshop podcast. Go check out the store. We are not running a sale, but we probably should for the holidays. Get some AWP merch and make sure to leave a very ambiguous, vague review so that it confuses future patrons. And with that, listeners and patrons too. You guys have any final words, Cowboy?
No, support the
Partner?
podcast because I am not cheap.
Yeah, he's very expensive.
Their bank account is below zero.
Let's just in red.
Pew pew pew.
Pew pew pew. Since you got a free ad read, double dipping. All right,
And
thank
we'll be
you
right
guys. Yeah. Oh no. So, all right. Thank you guys for joining. We'll see you all next week. And love you all. Bye bye.
Love you long time.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.